And again, the goal here is to use a solid piece of cabbage to push the shredded cabbage under the brine. And if I tilt this a little bit, you can see that we have quite a bit of brine and it's already bubbling. This is really good news. So I'm pushing it down using the tamper. I'm really putting a lot of pressure on this now, but I'm also holding the jar with my hand to make sure it doesn't tip over. Wow, you can really see the liquid in there now. Look at that. Yeah. Okay. Now, the next step is to add a weight. Or more than one weight. So we have our vegetables, we have our primary follower, which is our cabbage leaf. If that was not enough to hold it all down, you could use a secondary follower. I usually don't need one, but we could talk about that in another video. The next thing I'm going to use are these glass weights. Because this is a half-gallon jar, I'm going to use more than one. And just a quart-size jar, I would just use this one weight. And you can see they've got like a little finger hold here that helps you get it in and out of the jar. So I'm going to add the plain weights in first. There we go. And then I'm going to add the larger weight on top. And I'm going to really push that down. And I'm going to use my tamper to push it down even more. And we can see we've got quite a bit of liquid here pushing up. That is exactly what we want. And remember to hold your jar while you're doing this. And you can use a small spatula or even a butter knife if you want to make sure that our cabbage leaf, our follower, if you will, is pushed down below the level of the liquid. The liquid at this point we call a brine because it's mixed with salt, and it's that briny, salty water liquid from, and remember, this is not water. I didn't add water. This is the water or the liquid from the vegetables. So this top one is not going below the surface, but that's okay because we have two glass weights that are below the surface. The important thing here is to keep all of your vegetables under the brine. Anything that touches air could create some kind of yeast or mold, and those things are not going to help our ferment. There we go. The next step, I have an airlock system. I bought these from Amazon, and I'll put a link below, but basically these are lids with a hole in the middle. So we're going to attach the lid, and then we have the actual airlock here. I'm going to set the sauerkraut aside for a minute. This is our actual airlock. This is a tube that goes down. There's holes in the bottom. The tube comes all the way up through the middle, and what we're going to do is put water in this section. And I use salt water. You could use plain water if you wanted to. There we go. I've got some water in there. And then we're going to put this little airlock device. It's solid on top, but there are holes in the bottom. What this does is it allows the carbon dioxide out of the ferment to come up through this tube, and if there's enough carbon dioxide, it can actually make this little floating piece pop up and release the carbon dioxide. Now, what we're going to do is put a cap over the whole thing, which prevents any new air from getting in. Because again, the whole purpose here is to make an environment where our vegetables have salt water or salt liquid. The salt and the bacteria on the vegetables are going to create bacteria. That bacteria is going to create carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is all these bubbles. Carbon dioxide is going to start coming up through the layers as bubbles, The carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen, so it pushes the oxygen up and out of the airlock. But no new oxygen can get into the airlock. So what this creates is an environment where the vegetables never touch oxygen after the first day. And that's what you want. You want the vegetables to ferment in their own brine with salt, creating good bacteria that will preserve the vegetables and create lots of good probiotics for your system.